being sick and stuff.
I'm gonna have to sneeze.
Like I keep knocking on wood because I made it through the holidays and CES and everything.
I have a policy where I don't cover my mouth when I sneeze. It's against my religion, so you can't hate me for it.
It sounds horrible. Not
for you.
Hey, Mark.
Hey. Wait, who? I wasn't expecting a specific name to follow that exclamation.
I wanted to respond to Mark in Twitch chat because he's pointing out that this focus looks a little soft.
Oh,
We're using a webcam.
It's literally a webcam.
I'll let Kyle do the intro though. Hey, Kyle.
Okay, are we streaming to both now?
We're streaming.
Welcome back to Awesome Hardware. This is side B. If you missed the first half and you'd like to check that out, you can go to youtube.com/paulshardware or follow the link in my description below. But this is a tech news show that we do every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware and our respective YouTube channels. As I've already pointed out, we like to have a couple drinks and occasionally we swear. So if you have little ones around or sensitive ears, then beware. Then beware.
Is that a word?
Beware. Then beware. I was trying to combine like 2 or 3 different words at the same time. And you can buy stuff from our stores. My store is bitwit.tech, and I have a bunch of merchandise there, very high quality, that you can check out. It helps support the channel. It pays for the amazing set that I have before you.
Oh yeah.
And I will Johnson the shit out of you at the end of the show if you happen to purchase something from my store. Paul's store is paulshardware.net. You will also get a loud and proud Johnson from him should you purchase any one of his high quality materials or items. They're all very, very lovely. Additionally, shout out to Sal and any other people in chat who are moderating the stream. I think Wifey Sauce might be in there as well. Yay. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for being here. And thank you everyone who's doing super chat donations on YouTube. We will be reading out your comments attached to those donations by the end of the show. In the after party, perhaps.
This is also the first time we have live streamed the show from Kyle's new house.
Good point. Yes, this is totally new, and I literally just ported over all the equipment and hardware and the computer and stuff that I was using at the old office, thinking
You mean you burned all the old equipment? We're starting from scratch. Okay, that's why we're using a webcam.
That's a better explanation and definitely gives us a bigger excuse as to why the quality is pretty crappy right now. Start. So hopefully the next time we're streaming from here, from my place, in about 2 weeks, things will look a bit more put together and we'll actually have a decent quality for you guys. So thanks for bearing with us. Hey.
But this quality is passable. You can see us, you can hear us.
Yeah.
And the things we're going to say are very important.
It's really the content, you know.
I've just assumed that that's the case for your half, Kyle, based on past precedent.
Yeah, thanks for stacking that pressure on me.
No, I mean, you got notes and important, is it GTX 1660? I mean, that's a
big headliner.
It's a good thing.
Of course. Why don't we talk about that?
Okay.
All right, so this article is from WCCF Tech about the GTX. So we actually ended your half of the stream with news on the 1660 Ti, or at least price checking it, which seems to be all in order. But now we have some word, we've caught wind of a GTX 1660 non-Ti, as well as a GTX 1650. Both prices and launch dates have been leaked. This is an article from WCCF Tech via a report from DigiTimes. So thanks DigiTimes and WCCF Tech. These are, of course, these cards are going to have the Turing GPU architecture without the RTX features, very much like their older brother or their bigger brother, the 1660 Ti. What we're seeing right here, just cutting right to the chase, $229 for the GTX 1660, which will launch March 15th. Again, all rumors, all speculation, grain of salt, but $229 for the GTX 1660 come March 15th, which is right around the corner, following hot on the heels of its older brother. Now, there's going to feature these cards are going to feature a cut down version of the TU 116 GPU. So you're going to have fewer CUDA cores.
CUDA cores?
You're going to have CUDA cores, fewer CUDA cores.
FUDA cores.
FUDA cores, 1,280 FUDA cores, and 6 gigs of VRAM, which is still not too shabby for the 1660. This will probably be, we're speculating here, faster than a GTX 1060. When you consider that the 1660 Ti was quite a bit faster on most games than a GTX 1070. So hopefully we'll see this card scale in a similar fashion with its predecessor, essentially. The pricing here as well, for $229 for this card, also competes directly with an RX 580. I did a price check earlier today. You can get an RX 580 for around $229, give or take 10, 20 bucks. Even the RX 590 in some cases can be had for as low as 220 or 30 bucks if you know where to look. So it'll be interesting to see if more news on AMD and how they're responding to perhaps this announcement in just a moment. Now, if you're talking about the GTX 1650, that's going to be coming in at a price of $179 US and arriving April 30th, so just a month or so after the GTX 1660. This is obviously going to have a different core than the 1660 with somewhere between 896 to 1024 CUDA cores and 4 gigs of VRAM. However, it will be, speculatively, GDDR5 memory as opposed to GDDR6 with the rest of the Turing GPUs. The pricing on this card competes directly with the RX 570. I would say sort of towards the high end there. So it'll be interesting to see just where the performance lies. Now, that actually segues us perfectly into the next segment, which is also from WCCF Tech. And this is via a tweet by Bits and Chips. More rumors here, but this is basically this is speculating that AMD is responding to all of NVIDIA's news that I just presented by doing price cuts on the RX 580 and the RX 590, so on the mainstream Polaris GPUs. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. We've seen this multiple times. We've seen both AMD and NVIDIA do this in the past, especially when you consider the GTX 1660 Ti already having the benchmarks gone public, beating out pretty much a RX 590, and it's actually closer in performance to an RX Vega 56 really, or a GTX 1070. It's kind of in a different league than the competing product that it's priced similarly to. So it would make logical sense for AMD to say, wow, no one's going to buy our card at that price. There's definitely a better option at that price from our competitors. Let's lower that down, and the speculative price, the rumored price for the RX 590 is $229. So if you line that up with the GTX 1660 actually, that we just talked about, that is still a rumored card, it's going to be launching for the same price. 1660 non-TI, and the RX 590 will perhaps be around the same price at $229. Kind of interesting. The RX 580, yep.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like people have been frustrated in the past year or two because when it comes to competition in the GPU space in particular, what you're used to seeing happen is a next generation of products comes around that offers a performance boost, 10, 20% usually, sometimes more. And usually those cards will come in and kind of replace what's currently available at roughly the same prices. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll creep it up a little bit. Right. But after last year with the 20 series that NVIDIA launched, they just didn't do that at all. They're like, all right, we're bringing in the new stuff, but we're just going to put it on top of what already exists and charge, upwards of, I dropped my phone. Upwards of $1,000 per GPU. This, by contrast, seems to be more of the kind of traditional strategy, good news for consumers type of thing. A new graphics card has come out. You now have a card that used to cost $260, dropping down to $220, $230. $229,
yeah.
Savings for the consumer, more performance for a lower price.
Which I think makes sense. Which I think makes sense for the segments that you're looking at. The products seem to be more consumer friendly on the entry level to mid-range side, and they seem to be just more. There seems to be more fuckery on the high-end side. Yes. I think maybe because manufacturers like NVIDIA know that people who have money are willing to spend more money and are more willing to bend over and take it in the ass because they can. Whereas people who are on a fixed budget, hey, you can charge whatever you want for that high-end GPU. I ain't buying it because my wallet is saying no. So it seems to be more forgivable and a little bit more sensible, really, the lower you go on the totem pole in terms of GPU tiers, just based on how, buyers are outfitted with their bank accounts.
Thank you for the F's in chat. My phone survived, so.
Oh, thank God.
Everything's fine.
Good testament to the case. All right, so yeah. Bear in mind though, the RX,
was also the 580 price drop.
RX 580. I was going to say the RX 580 price drop is going to be $199 to be rumored. So that also somewhat competes. It's $20 more than the GTX 1650. So it'll be interesting to see how those stack up performance-wise.
The rumored price of the GTX 1650, right?
Correct.
The RX 580, I think, has gone for $199 before during like fire sales and Black Friday timeframe.
These are just official numbers.
But cool if they're just dropping them all to that price.
That would be nice. All right, moving on. We've got an article from overclock3d.net about Microsoft perhaps bringing Xbox One game compatibility to the Windows platform. This is good news for us if it turns out to be true for us PC gamers.
Like an emulator.
Kind of like an emulator, but this basically stems from a lot of Windows 10 insiders having gained access to a game called State of Decay, which appeared to come from Xbox servers rather than the Windows 10 store, which was the first clue. The second clue that was really a big hitter here was that it was using the .xvc format, which is designed specifically for Xbox One. But this, this seemingly exclusive Xbox One format can now be installed by Windows, is what all these Windows 10 insiders are finding. So it seems like Microsoft might be opening the door for some form of console emulation on PC, to quote the article here. It could just be a way for Microsoft to make porting Xbox One games over to PC easier, or vice versa, which would be the less exciting option. But it could also hopefully be an indication of early plans to give PC users the ability to play the entire Xbox One game library, which would be sweet. I think the more that platforms can mesh together and the fewer exclusive titles we have, the better it is for gamers and the community and stuff. That's exciting because that means games like Halo Master Chief Collection, Red Dead Redemption 2, which I bought an Xbox One specifically for, those can potentially one day be played natively on PC.
Have you played through that?
I have not, which angers me. But it was just a terrible time to buy a console just for a single game, being in the midst of a big move with your business and your life and your personal belongings. I haven't had much time. I've actually played more Resident Evil 2 than I have Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's because they almost have similar acronyms. Resident Evil 2 is on PC, and I'm just on the PC all the time. So I'm like, it's just a mouse click away. It's
just there. You might
Whereas I gotta fire up the Xbox. I gotta walk all the way over the TV. I'm such a lazy PC user. But anyway, who knows? Who knows also what kind of limitations this will pose? Let's say that Microsoft is planning full support for PC with their Xbox One games. There might be limitations. You might have a frame rate cap. All the other things that we've seen from the Windows 10 store, the Windows Store, I should say.
That would suck.
That would really, really suck and be a huge anticlimactic point. But,
and I mean, there's two sides to the coin, right? Like, if you're talking about an Xbox One emulator, then you might be taking basically the same quality game that's on Xbox and porting it to the PC. So, positive there is that there's games that might be available on the PC that weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another positive that I was thinking about right now, which is like take a game like Grand Theft Auto 6, which they're working on.
Yeah.
Like you can be pretty assured of.
Sure.
If you look at GTA 5 and the disparity between the launch of it on the consoles, and then like I think more than a year and a half before it came out on the PC.
Right.
Well, you could say if you have something like this, then if it launches on Xbox One or whatever, then you should also have access to it on the PC.
Right.
Other side though, because this type of thing has nuance and you have to consider multiple aspects to it. They did so much work with GTA 5. When it came out on the PC, it was so much better in many different ways than the console versions. Right. So, do you guys want speed? Do you want that game to come out quickly and have access to it on the PC like immediately?
Right.
Or do you want to wait until a company like Rockstar takes their time to do it the way they want to, and then suddenly have, you know, all these different scales of resolution and detail and stuff and mods and everything that can be added on. So,
and I'm sure there's also the factor when it comes to like money, like the platform itself. Like I'm sure a lot of these publishers or game developers have deals with like PlayStation or with Sony or with Microsoft, where it's like, hey, you guarantee us a certain number of, you know, along a period, a window where we have exclusivity on this platform before it launches on anything else, then we cut you a deal, you know, whatever, money. So there's a lot of moving parts to it that could affect.
I wouldn't see them suddenly saying like, all right, any Xbox game is now available on the PC via this.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing.
Right.
Because that does take away a lot of their ability to say like, this is the console exclusive. Like you have to buy the console if you want to play this game.
Right.
You got to buy your Xbox One or whatever to play Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Because that's very effective. It's proven to be a very effective tool many times in the past. Look at any like Zelda game.
Yeah.
How many
Nintendo consoles were sold.
How many people
that
have
franchise
bought
alone?
A Nintendo console just to play a Zelda game because either because of nostalgia or because the games themselves are just really well designed or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll see. All right, so that's pretty much all for. No, we have one more news story here. This is also from Hexus. It's about the microSD Express. This is sort of building upon what Paul was talking about in his half. So the SD Association, or SDA, announced a new standard for their mobile devices, for mobile devices in general at their at the Mobile World Conference event, or MWC, which kind of sounds like a wrestling event, but it's not. MicroSD Express incorporates the PCI Express NVMe interface, which we're all very well aware of in their kind of stick of gum NVMe SSDs, to the legacy SD interface in the microSD form factor. So NVMe protocol crammed into a micro SD card. Now, to recap, this announcement follows last year's launch of full-sized SD Express cards and SDUC cards with capacities ranging anywhere from 2 terabyte to 128 terabytes. So, microSD Express delivers, as Paul had mentioned, up to 985 megabytes a second. That's a crazy data transfer rate that, again, rivals the speeds of, like, double the speed of a standard 2.5-inch SATA-based SSD, for example. This is it's an NVMe upper layer protocol that enables advanced memory access mechanisms. A subset of cards will be available based on the new SD 7.1 spec, including micro SDHC Express, micro SDXC Express, and micro SDUC Express.
The Stay Hydrated bot just reminded us to drink water.
Thank you, Stay Hydrated bot. What's Stay Hydrated bot?
It's in Twitch. It just said we've been live for over an hour now.
Drink water.
And at this point in our broadcast, we should have consumed at least 4 ounces of water to maintain optimum hydration.
So you get like alerts for bio breaks now in chat. Will it tell me to like take a piss at some point?
Probably.
It's been an hour since you last drank water after I reminded you to drink water. You should probably have a bowel movement.
I don't know if it accounts for the fact that we're drinking beer at the same time, but beer is questionable when it comes to hydration.
This bot should know everything.
So
they're referring to them as removable solid state drives. If that's any indication of how much confidence they have in the performance of these micro SD cards, they're calling them SSDs, basically, which is somewhat valid if they're going to be twice the speed of a SATA-based one. This opens new opportunities for devices and will facilitate new levels of creation, like super slow-mo video, raw continuous burst photography, 8K, 360 video capture, just to name a few. Also, can you run Windows off of one of these? And what's that going to be like? If you run games, can you install your Steam library and a bunch of games onto one of these?
Weird flash.
Yeah, it's kind of weird behavior.
You should be able to run Windows off one of these just fine if those are the read and write speeds, and it would be like running out Windows off of a nice SSD. So form factor wise, we're talking about the same standard for like a micro SD card. Right. Is that so? Yeah, a micro SD card. Is there anything about backwards compatibility if you just try to plug it into a standard SD card reader? Like, would you be able to transfer at some piddly, 80 to 100 megabytes per second transfer rate?
It didn't say, but I would imagine you can. You'll just be bottlenecked by your slowest connection.
All right. Well,
or the slowest protocol.
I'm also kind of curious: is there gonna be like an external SD card reader that needs to plug into a PCI Express slot or an M.2 slot, so it can have direct PCIe lane connectivity? I'm just curious about the physical implementation of this. The speeds sound awesome,
right?
When it comes to recording to or copying data off of an SD card, and that's often one of the things. Like for me, when I'm shooting video or whatever, like Joe and I shot a video the other day where the how to build a PC video that I just posted earlier today, and we had like 200 gigs of footage when we were done for the day, and like he wanted to go home because we spent a really long day filming. I'm like, all right, let's transfer footage, and then it's like, all right, well, we're gonna sit here for 30 minutes because that's the fastest rate that it can copy that data off of the SD card. I have a 256 gig SD card. There were 200 gigs of data on it. That's just how long it took.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm curious about implementation, support on desktops via motherboards or other ways.
There may not be one. It may just be for mobile for now.
Okay. Well, if it's PCI Express, from my understanding, then as long as you have some way to connect it up to PCI Express lanes, go to the CPU, then you should be able to.
There might be a third-party device.
Yeah.
That would look weird, like a PCIe card that's just got a micro SD card slot on it.
I'm thinking like a PCI Express card that has some sort of cable or maybe even external rear, or like, so that wouldn't be practical. Like you need to be able to access it to plug a card in if you're talking about like a card reader or something like that. But PCI Express add-on card with like a breakout cable that comes over for something like this.
Externally, yeah, right.
You did your cable management too good.
You can unplug it.
Like
just a little USB card reader.
And then you've got a card reader that sits on your desk or something that can access those speeds.
Right.
And it just loops back in to plug into the back of your computer. I don't know.
Or what if micro SD Express is the new USB Type-C, where all of us tech reviewers just start complaining as to why cases don't have micro SD Express front I/O.
If it's a new standard, I'll complain about it all day until it's on all the cases.
Can't wait for the rant on that one. All right, that's going to sum up general tech news for today. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is hot and heavy hardware.
Yeah,
we're actually talking about some physical product.
I'm going to fix this.
What?
Fixing this.
No, not axed. Why is axed up there?
Because I don't have hot and heavy hardware lined up. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. That's like a go-to. That's a golden segment.
Where is hot?
Should always be on the hot button. Should always be hotkeyed. Should be able to hotkey all of these different.
Oh, there it is. Hot and heavy hardware.
It's in alphabetical order, Paul.
Sorry, I sometimes forget what order the alphabet is in.
Don't you dare try to axe me ever again.
Pretty common.
All right, so this first article is from Hot Hardware, coincidentally. It's about the Energizer phone. Energizer, yes, the battery company, has officially launched their P18K Pop, which is a very interesting name for a smartphone.
Power brick doubles as a cumbersome phone. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's basically a power brick, an 18,000 milliamp hour power brick, but it's also a phone. Somehow, Energizer thought this would be a great idea. I would be very curious to see how many of these they sell, because look at the thickness. And it's supposed to be
a thick phone.
And it's supposed to, like, this is the definition of thick, double C thick. And I can't even imagine, it's probably heavier than it looks. if that's all battery. Like
Yeah,
battery
like
bricks are not light. That can probably barely fit in a conventional pocket, like a male jeans pocket. That's massive. So it does have some interesting specs. A MediaTek Helio P70 SoC with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs built-in storage with a micro SD slot. A 6.2-inch screen with a 19:9 aspect ratio.
Is the micro SD slot compatible with 1 terabyte micro SD cards?
It freaking better be.
Should be.
For the amount of space this thing takes up, my God. But the real prize, the real star of the show here is the battery, of course. At 18,000 milliamps, it's 5 times the capacity of the iPhone XS Max, more than 4 times the capacity of Samsung's Galaxy S10 Plus. It's got cameras on the front and back, but also supports 200 hours of video playback. Although this might be a typo. I saw in the article it says 200 hours of video playback or 50 hours on standby. Did they mean to reverse those two? Because how could you have fewer hours on standby than you have on video?
Perhaps a typo in the article.
So maybe they meant 50 hours of video playback, which seems more reasonable, and 200 hours on standby. Sounds more real, right. 8 to 9 hours to fully charge. 8 to 9 hours to fully charge this thing. You literally have to charge it overnight.
Is that with like a quick charge with a 2 amp?
That is with fast charging, 2.4 amp perhaps. 9 hours. That means even after a night's sleep. I mean, some of us only get 5 hours of sleep a night. That means it won't even be fully charged by the morning if you are charging from fully dead. But at the same time, you would have probably 2x the battery life of any other phone on the market, even at 70% capacity.
And you'd have really toned like forearms, biceps from lifting it to your
Energizer buff.
Your face all the time.
I mean, I feel like as the years goes on, the Energizer Bunny should just be like more and more jacked. He's been pounding on that thing for so long. He's still got the weak, measly ass forearms. It's like, come on.
That would imply that he is like a biological being, though, versus mechanical.
I say why not
batteries?
I say why not both?
Some sort of Energizer Bunny cyborg hybrid with like.
Sounds like a boss from Deus Ex. Yeah. Some augmented semi-man machine bunny.
That'd be scary.
I would run.
Me too.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
This next article is from Vortez.
Vortez!
Which I always want to say Vortex, but it's Vortez. They trick you at the very end of their name. This is about Fractal Design's new addressable RGB fans. Actually, they have addressable RGB fans and single color LED fans, but obviously the RGB ones are more interesting. The Prisma AL and the Prisma SL for addressable and single LED, I would imagine. 6 LEDs per fan. Illuminates fan blades and the outer ring for a more uniform look. They actually look pretty nice. They look very like Fractal tends to do, very like minimalistic, so that it kind of blends with whatever you put it with. It's not super stylized, which I always am a fan of. I like the fact that nailed it. Yeah, I think they look good, and as Brian from BPS Customs, our good friend and a fellow YouTuber, he actually had exclusivity to these fans in North America. So he was the only YouTuber in America that posted a video on these fans on launch day. And it's a great video. He does a good job, as he usually does.
I see he's just leveraging his position now in order to get the scoop on us.
Yep, absolutely. He's a total backstabber.
What a dick.
Yeah, I hate him.
What a dick.
No one subscribed to him. So yeah, he's got all the specs here and says that what caught his eye initially about these fans was that the tips of the blades are very close to the frame, which increases static pressure.
My God, they're $25 each.
$25 each, which shouldn't surprise you because that's around the price falls right in line with other high-end RGB fans these days.
So expensive.
Available in a triple pack or sold single units. Addressable RGB has a price. Most definitely. Which is why it's kind of nice that Fractal has the single LED options. So that if you don't want to pay 25 bucks a pop, you get them for much cheaper.
Did Brian have exclusivity on the single RGB, single color options?
That I don't know. I think he just got the addressable RGB ones. But in this shot, I think he's actually demonstrating the fact that these fans can daisy chain together. And he tried 7 of them together, and they all worked fine.
Oh, yeah?
There's no official limit. There's no official on-paper limit as far as how many fans you can daisy chain.
Is he daisy chaining the RGB
the
lights?
RGB. The RGB.
Separate, okay.
Yeah. They're not powered in via, like, the fan blades aren't moving, but the RGB implementation looks perfect across 7 fans, which is great because you're only so limited. You're so limited on how many addressable RGB headers you have on a given motherboard, you know?
Okay.
I had some issues with Hotline 2 yesterday, like, oh geez, I have too much RGB and not enough headers. So it's nice that Fractal's offering daisy chain support.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. Let's see. That's all I want to say about that. Good job, Fractal. Took you long enough, but better late than never, I suppose. Moving on, we've got an article from Overclock 3D once again about Crucial updating their BX500 series SSDs with an affordable 960 gig offering.
Ew.
This is great if you guys are interested in a near 1 terabyte SSD and you're on a budget. The original BX500 series launched in August of last year, offering 480 gig models at 89 bucks. But now you'll be able to snag almost a terabyte for just 40 bucks more, which is quite a steal. This isn't like a Black Friday deal or anything, just 129 bucks for a near terabyte. The entry-level BX series, as a lot of you guys know, is sort of one step below the MX series, but still offers 540 and 500 megabytes per second sequential reads and writes respectively. It's using Micron 96-layer 3D TLC NAND, and this is of course of the 2.5 inch form factor with a 7mm thickness, should fit in most laptops and of course your typical desktop environment. 3-year warranty, hits retailers soon. Always nice to see Crucial coming up with new cheap-ass SSDs. I am all for it for budget builds.
130 bucks for a terabyte?
Yep.
Here's PC Part Picker right now. I'm looking at SSDs. I'm looking at basically 500 gig class and 1 terabyte class SSDs.
Price check.
So you can get 960 gig SSDs for 100 bucks right now.
Heyo. Okay.
AData's got their SU650. These have been coming down. Like this is really nice.
Damn.
Actually, what I want to
100 bucks.
I'm going to increase this to include 2 terabyte drives. Price per gig.
Yeah, what's the cheapest 2
10
terabyte?
cents a gig. Oh, that's so nice. That's such a nice price per gig. So look at that. The cheapest drive right now, when it comes to price per gig, is literally a 1 terabyte Team L5 Lite.
Wow.
It's not going to be the most insanely fast SATA SSD, but like
fast enough for everyone.
It's a 1 terabyte SATA SSD for 100 bucks.
That's crazy.
That's all. What's our cheapest 2 terabyte? 2 terabytes for 240 right now. Ooh, and that's an Intel 660p. What? What?
Damn, and it's M.2.
Yeah, that's an NVMe drive. That's
Whoa.
This is gonna give you just temporarily
Maybe that's a sale
block. No, it's just a.
Huh.
This doesn't even seem like it's on a fire sale or anything like
What?
that. All right, 660p. This one has read speeds of 1800 megabytes. That should be a bit. No, megabytes. I'm sorry. Per second. Reads and writes. This is a good drive. I mean, it's not the fastest NVMe drive.
What's the next most expensive? What's the next cheapest 2 terabyte drive?
All right,
just for comparison.
Just look at 2 terabyte. We're recapping the price.
This is exciting.
New price check segment.
My clothes are about to fly.
Sponsored by Gamers Nexus. I need to bring that back just so we can show Steve again. All right. For 2 terabyte drives, that's crazy to me that the cheapest 2 terabyte drive right now is an Intel NVMe drive.
That never happens.
Which is going to run circles around any of these SATA drives.
Maybe they're launching a new one and they're trying to get rid of clear inventory.
I'm going to go buy one of those.
But again, why would it not be on sale?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But anyway, so guys, that's your price you should be paying for SSDs right now. 500 gig drive, 50 bucks.
Yeah.
1 terabyte drive, $100. 2 terabyte drive, $200. Although apparently you can't get it for $200, but 2 terabyte NVMe drive, $240. I won't complain.
Things are looking up for the PC Master Race.
Yay.
Let's move on to our last article for today, which is the HTC 5G Hub. This is an article from Hexus. At MWC 2019, the event that we mentioned earlier, HTC launched a new smart home hub.
Oh.
And it kind of looks like a Google Home Hub or a Amazon Echo Show. It's got that 5-inch screen, but it offers a 5G hotspot as a main feature. So you can bring it anywhere that you don't naturally have a wireless connection or Wi-Fi, and do things on the internet with it. It's kind of handy. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 SoC, which is actually not a bad chip compared to the competitors Google Home Hub or Echo Show. Android 9 Pie, full Android interface. USB-C video out, so you could connect this to a larger monitor if you wanted to, which is kind of handy. And it has a built-in battery, so you could go wireless with this guy. You don't need to be tethered to a wall outlet, so to speak. So all these various features open this device up to many more possibilities than you'd otherwise have with your conventional smart home hub. The other cool thing is that it's advertised to enable smooth 4K streaming.
Okay.
You can have low latency gaming experiences, apparently, and faster networks in the home and office. Super fast 5G network can connect up to 20 devices simultaneously.
Oh, we just got raided, by the way.
By
Jerry.
Oh, Barnacles.
Jerry raid. Hi.
Jerry, thanks, man.
Hi, Jerry. Thanks for the raid.
You the best.
Thanks for joining us, viewers of Jerry, aka Barnacles.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love Jerry too. Did we recently rated Jerry as well, I think. So
I think we did.
It's like instant karma.
Yeah.
This is the only reason I do nice things for people.
One hand washes the other. I really like saying that phrase because I feel kind of creepy every time.
It is a very creepy saying.
Right?
One hand wash. It sounds like something fucking Hannibal Lecter would say.
I know.
Remember, Clarice.
But
one hand washes the other.
Exactly. But you can't, I mean, but it's still just a normal phrase.
No, it totally is.
There's nothing wrong
somehow
with it.
But somehow it sounds
like
something a serial killer would say.
Like there's some shadiness going on there, something underhanded. Thanks for the raid though, Jerry.
This is your shower. Yeah, thanks man.
For joining us, any of you guys who came over from there.
Thanks, y'all. Jerry rated us on the perfect day when we have like the worst quality and zero background. No set.
Running off of a webcam today.
Yeah, Jerry fans, come back next week. It'll be a little better.
We'll improve things.
A little crispier. All right, so HTC 5G Hub looks pretty interesting. A 7,660 milliamp battery that apparently lasts all day. That's what she said. So potentially you could be gaming on a server at a park on your little 5-inch 5G hotspot hub.
Okay.
And it has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so you could potentially connect Bluetooth peripherals, right? Keyboard and mouse. I feel like I want to do a follow-up to my tiny PC gaming setup with this thing and see if it's a better experience or not, depending on functionality and stuff.
We need to hike to the top of Mount Elbert again.
Ooh, tiniest LAN party.
Tiniest LAN party, but not just local LAN party.
Ooh,
we'd be like LAN partying with people on the other side of the world.
WAN party.
WAN partying.
Tiniest WAN party.
Highest WAN. Okay. Just a thought.
We'll get there. We're still spitballing here. All right, that's all I have for my half. So yeah, that was efficient.
Good.
I guess we can end the stream here, but don't go anywhere because we're doing an after party afterwards. That's why it's called after party. It was redundant. So we'll be reading off donations from Super Chat. We'll be giving out our due Johnson shout outs, and perhaps play a little bit of games. Who knows? Who knows what could happen in the after party? Thank you in advance to anyone who volunteers to do timestamps down below. You are a hero and my personal idol. I will worship you forever. Kiss the ground your feet walk upon. No homo.
Wow. It's very dedicated.
That's how you sell it. Thank you guys for watching.
In that case, you're talking about your everyday tech because he's been doing the timestamps for like literally the past, I don't know how many shows now.
I've been kissing his feet for
your everyday
years.
tech. Thank you, sincerely and honestly, thank you for all of the time you've put in to do timestamps consistently for both of our channels, and we will keep pinning you and thanking you if you keep doing that.
I'll mod you,
but don't feel obligated. Like if you want, if you can't, like don't.
Well, now that you put him on blast, he's kind of obligated. Now if he stops, he'll just feel like a dick.
Is that right?
I mean, that was like the kindest peer pressuring I've ever seen, Paul. Well, you're like a master at.
I'm just trying to indicate that we're fair and balanced, but also he's going to let everyone down if he doesn't keep doing it.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, guys. Be right back.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.